Guys, good Tuesday morning. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk. This is an insider's guide to real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness, powered by the Yes Team Realtors. Keith and Yonna Smith, trusted advisors in the real estate game and the game we call life. Judah Wickhauer is our director. Judah, if you could go to the studio camera first, and let's welcome the distinguished gentleman to the set wearing yet another mask that matches his outfit. He plans the mask like you do the pocket square, like I do. I like it. You're looking sharp.
Plus the socks.
Plus the socks. We used to have a sock cam.
We used to have a sock cam.
And then we decided we'd have the other camera on your face.
And then we pivoted to the Judah cam.
Yeah, the Judah camera.
Judah cam.
Should we do the Judah camera now?
I think we're going to. Judah's a little busy. He's
Okay,
working.
all right.
We don't, slow down, Robin. Slow down. I'm looking forward to today. You know, this is, I love when we just do our one-on-ones and very quickly I forget that there's cameras here and there's a microphone stuck in front of my face. And in this case, my eyeglasses fogging up as I breathe. So I'm looking forward to it. A couple of deep things I want to get into, and you know, basically, I just want you and I to do you and I and bounce stuff back and forth and see where it goes.
I love it. I'm so looking forward to this. A lot of new laws going into effect that are impactful, Keith Smith.
There is. I mean, I don't want to get into all of them. There's multiple pages of them here, and but I do want to focus on one in particular, which is this new septic inspection. So just for those who are not real estate agents or realtors or who have had a recent purchase in their lives.
Right.
This is particularly pertains to homes that don't have central water and sewer on it. So in other words, in the country. And when we get back later on in the show and talk about numbers, which by the way, I gave you my cheat sheet for numbers,
I see 'em.
which I need. No, I need my cheat sheet.
Oh, you need the cheat sheet back. Okay.
Thank you.
I thought that was for me. I was like,
No.
guy's helping me pass the test.
No.
He's the smart kid in the class that I'm sitting next to get the good grades.
No, I'm not going to make it that easy on you, Miller. Not at all. So what happens in a normal transaction that's in let's say in the counties or in the rural sections where we have a well and a septic system. So what has been happening in the past is somebody like Interstate Pest Control, right, and service company would do your termite inspection, would do your well test. So in other words, we want to test the water so there's no E. coli or anything like that in it, so it's potable, meaning you can drink it.
Yeah.
And then they do a septic walkover. So that's been like that for quite a while. So this new law says that now Interstate can do this because they're licensed to do it, but if this particular individual does not have this specific licensing from DPOR, from the health department, from the state, they can't do that. So that's going to be a huge impact because the depth of who can do this is not that deep. Right. So typically, Interstate's a very unique company because
they're vertically integrated. They have a lot of different service verticals. When you put them under one roof, they truly become a home's best friend.
And they got into this got in front of this.
Since 1969.
But I think they have a history of getting in front of things like this.
They do. You know where I really was impressed? And someone tagged the Interstate family, Stephanie or Cameron or Greg on there, where I was really impressed with how they got in front of bed bug treatment. Saw where the market was going before the market knew where it was going. But septic, you're 100%.
Yeah, so in the struggle, and hopefully we'll be able to clarify some of this when we chat next Tuesday.
Yep.
I hate to throw state government under the bus, but at the end of the day, this is very classic for them. Right. So what they will do is they will create a new mandate, and it's pretty interesting. It's something that affects us pretty deeply, and it's about 6 lines, right? But they do this, and particularly I see this on the local government side, right? So it's called, in the local government side, it's called an unfunded mandate. So the state would say, locality, you need to do X. Oh, by the way, we're not going to help you pay for it. Right. So in this case, this is much, I think we as an industry are going to have to figure this out. And so, we'll see. Virginia Realtors doesn't really have a protocol path. I was on the phone with the leadership for CAR yesterday saying, hey, I'm going to talk about this. Do we have any matrix that we can follow? And the answer was, unfortunately they don't. They're waiting for it to come to Virginia Realtors. So I'm pretty sure tomorrow is the 1st, right?
Is tomorrow the 1st?
Today's the 30th, I think.
Is that right, Judah? Tomorrow's the 1st? Today's the 30th.
Tomorrow's the 1st.
Yeah.
So you write a contract tomorrow. This is the new rules. And so the good thing, like I said, is
all right, so walk me through layman's. You write a contract tomorrow. What happens tomorrow? Versus what's happening today?
We celebrate first.
Because you got a contract. You wrote a contract.
We do the happy dance.
Woo, the happy dance. What does Keith Smith's happy dance look like?
Yeah, we're going to move on.
Okay, I would love to see the happy dance.
We'll get a Batman and Robin meme with a happy dance on it.
I think he has one.
Does he? Well, the one that I sent today was the Batman and Robin, the original Real Talk things. Judah, would you put that up?
He's got it on screen. Look at our talented director.
And good-looking one, too.
Keith Smith has a little bit of crush with the newly cropped Judah Wickower right now. I think we need to go to the Judah Wickower camera.
Let's do the Judah Wickower. I'm trying to have a serious conversation here.
You said he was good-looking. Judah, are you showing your face over there? I am. Okay, there you go. Look at Judah Wickower.
There's my face.
There's Judah's face.
So get on the feed. Does that guy not look like a JT?
It looks like JT. I
looks
think he
like
does.
JT.
Can you do a little dance, Judah?
The funny thing is you know who said that immediately?
Was it Yonna?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
She said that?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Okay, well, since Yonna said it, then I take it as the spoken word.
Yeah, I would
if
agree.
If it was you saying it, I would be like, oh, this is Keith being Keith over here. All right, so tell me this, because I'm learning from you again.
Yeah, so again, this process that we discussed earlier, typically would be one entity. So some of the, Interstate does this, but some of the other pest control companies also offer this complete service. Uh-huh. So, as somebody who's a practitioner in this business, if you can pick up the phone and call one company, right, or email or text one company to take care of everything, that would be fine. At the moment, there's a very small bandwidth of folks that can do this, or pool, that's the word I'm looking for, pool that can do this. So it could potentially slow down the process. And here's a little bit of a caveat in this process. So these tests we're talking about, termite, water, septic.
Yeah, important tests.
Cannot be older than 30 days.
Oh my goodness, dude.
So
that's going to crank a lot of stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
So you're saying this gets done 30 days, for some reason you hit snag, maybe it's a domino deal. Correct. You're saying this is going to have to be done in another 30-day period.
It potentially could delay.
Done again.
So normally...
Who would bust balls about that to make sure it was done if it was a clear 30? The lawyers?
No, the lenders. So this is a criteria. This is a criteria on the lending. You're not going to get a clear to close, right, until you have this test.
Now I see why you're bringing this up.
Yeah. This is a potentially a big thing. So normally what we do is 2 weeks prior to closing, we get all this done, right? So we know if we go a little over closing, I've got some wiggle room, right? So, for instance, to paint a scenario, if I had a closing that's going to happen tomorrow, and I had a test done on June 4th, just to pick a date, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden...
You got delayed.
We can't close to the 7th of July.
Because maybe the 4th of July or something else snags it.
COVID-19, things are slowing down,
right?
Things happen.
Ay, caramba, chico.
Yeah. Huh?
Huh? I see why you're bringing this up.
Yeah. To me, this is a big topic. And again, I'm not looking to...
You're just looking to shine a light on something that needs a light to be shined upon.
And giving advice to folks to kind of get in front of that. But it could happen that closing now gets delayed because this document is not valid any longer. Now, if my pool to select from is now just diminished, now we have...
Well, you also have an issue where you're not going to have enough people to service potentially the demand that's out there. And if you don't have enough people to service the demand that's potentially out there, and you have a time cap of 30 days, that's going to add to the potential problem. You basically could have a flush of water trying to go through something like this. is what you're basically saying.
Yeah, so I really haven't had an opportunity to do a search. Okay, who's certified, who isn't.
Yeah.
You know, as of the first, who's capable of doing it, who's not. Because we're fortunate. I'm just going to pick up the phone and call Interstate Pest Control, and then we'll get it done. But people who do not use them, or people that, you know, or potentially they could be overstretched, right? There's only a certain amount of people they have in their organization, and we'll talk about that on next Tuesday, that actually can do this. So it's just a little, you know, I'm not hitting the panic button, you know, it's just, and I'm sure.
What's CAR saying?
Like I said, I actually spoke to the CEO and said, look, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow, what protocols, what information, and she, and it's not great. Love Abby Tammin to death. She's an awesome CEO. We're very lucky to have her. But she was looking for something from...
Wait and see.
Well, no, she was looking for some information for Virginia Realtors, who, and this is just this classic, Potomac two-step kind of thing, right? Virginia Realtors waiting something from the state. The state hasn't got it to Virginia Realtors. So basically, we are now, as practitioners, need to function tomorrow, right? And, you know, I would recommend, folks, if we got deals coming up, you better go ahead and look and
find out. You got a lot of agents watching the show right now. He's laying down some quality knowledge bombs here and some good information. Michael Guthrie's watching. Your boy Matt Neese is watching. You got John Updike, Gary Palmer, Ashley Journey watching the program. Hello, Logan Foster. Hello, Ness Realty. Hello, Loring Woodruff's team. Thank you for watching the program. So we're talking about something the distinguished gentleman is bringing to people's attention that could... and not being over the top, but could be something that could impact some deals.
Yeah, so everybody you just listed off are superb real estate agents, superb brokers. I'm sure they're in front of this. So I'm really, not speaking to them in particular, but to the broader audience that watches that, so they can bring this up to their real estate agent or their realtor when they get ready to go forward. Everybody on that feed that you're smiling. That can't be good.
Yonna. Your wife is wonderful.
That can't be
I think
good.
she likes the back and forth. I love when Yonna leaves comments on the feed. I love you, Yonna.
Oh, now you got to tell me.
She said, you guys swallowed a funny pill today. You're doing a good job. Mike Hall just shared the show. Mike Hall works with Interstate Pest and Service Companies.
There you go.
He just shared the show. What's up, Mike Hall? Welcome to the program. We are talking about the new septic inspections that go into play July 1, tomorrow. And there's no clarity.
Maybe somebody on that feed.
Are we missing something? Michael Guthrie, jump in here if you could. Are we missing anything here? Tomorrow is when they go into effect.
Well, I worked the phones pretty hard the last...
Janice Cavanaugh is watching the program. Hello, Janice.
Hey, Janice.
Yeah.
I worked the phones with Virginia Realtors and CAR yesterday to say, hey, what's our protocols? What's our, how's this? Give me some guidance.
We'll ask Janice. Janice, you're watching here. This is what we're talking. Janice Cavanaugh, fabulous realtor with Ness Realty. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the new laws that are going to affect tomorrow when it comes to septic,
inspections,
termite, and
no, specifically to the septic. Just septic.
Specifically septic inspections and the folks that have the bags of money requiring them freshly in a 30-day period.
Yeah, well, and every one of the realtors do it, and we do the same thing. Even if it's a cash transaction, we want to see that. We want to make sure that when somebody moves in the house, they can flush their toilet.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Just kind of common sense.
Right. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that.
Duh.
Well, I think, just throw an idea out there. And it's quickly becoming the water cooler, your show. A lot of the topics in the community from a real estate standpoint.
Thank you.
How do we pursue more knowledge on this? Is it through Virginia Realtors?
That's who I'm leaning on.
Yeah. Can we invite him on the show?
Actually, I'm working on it. Just like everybody else, everybody's hands are pretty full at the moment. So I'm trying to bring them on. They have a legal update that they do regularly that I've been tracking, and so I would like to try to bring that.
We got a comment from Janice.
Yeah, cool, Janice. Thank you.
This is from Janice Cavanaugh, quality realtor. My understanding is septic has to be inspected by a company who installs septics and not just walk-over view.
That is absolutely correct. So that's the essence of the law. So it does not necessarily have to be somebody who actually installs them, but they have to be licensed to do that, right?
Yeah.
And so, there's maybe a business opportunity here for somebody that doesn't necessarily want to install, but they can go ahead and do the inspections. But Janice is spot on, because that's the feedback I got. And I'm like, well, hold it, time out. The pool to install them is not deep, right? And then, as everybody knows, I'm a recovering developer and builder. I can't tell you how many septic fields and houses I built. These guys are slammed, right? So if it has to be an actual installer, and that was the question I asked Virginia Realtors, does it have to actually be an actual installer, somebody who installs systems for a living, or can it be somebody who's licensed to do that? An engineer, for instance, right? A soils engineer, or some other certification.
Someone's kind of in the space. Yeah. And they said?
We'll get back to you. It's not their fault. And this, as I started off earlier, this is coming from the state down, right? So the state it's ridiculous how many lines. Lack of clarity, right?
6 lines.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah,
6 lines.
Yeah, something like that. So what is going to happen here? We as practitioners, Michael Guthrie, Miss Kavanaugh, we're going to figure this out in the field.
Of course.
And then what's going to happen is we're going to end up doing a transaction. This goes back to an app, an iBuy app isn't going to solve this problem.
No. This is why you get a trusted advisor.
This is why you have 2 trusted advisors on the
other. How could something on a phone solve this? It would be straight up contacts and who you know.
Didn't solve it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Janice, this is another topic, we're going to talk about here, Janice, is open houses.
Uh-oh.
For the agents that are watching the program, Michael Guthrie's watching here. Jeff Dreyfus, hello. He's watching the show. Elizabeth Reed, hello. Mike Hall says, I'm retired. He's not working for Interstate anymore. He's retired. Dylan Norback said, welcome to the program. He's watching the program. You're having one.
Yeah. I thought we were going to do this at the back end of the show, but you kind of moved it right up to
They're
the front.
asking.
Yeah.
Do folks know you're doing it?
They're going to find out here in a minute.
I think they already do. Did you promote it already?
I did not promote it already. So
the word is out.
Somebody is spreading the word a little bit here.
So how do you want to go down this road?
Nice job, Mr. Miller.
How do you want to go down this road?
Hold it, time out. I thought we said, remember, Batman, Robin.
Yeah. Okay, that means pump the brakes, Jerry.
No, we'll go there if you want. Yeah, sure. So our broker, Michael Guthrie, has given us permission to hold public open houses. Cars position, as I understand it, is that it falls upon the broker to allow it. So what we are working on is we're going to do a test. We're going to do a listing that we just put on 1449 Delphi Lane out in Cascadia. It's vacant, which it's going to make this a little easier.
I think he has pictures.
Does he really?
You have pictures of that, Judah. Can we put pictures on screen?
Of course, yeah.
Get those. That's getting Judah to the scramble here. See if you can get the pictures of the house that they're going to do an open house for on screen.
So we're going to talk about protocols on this thing. So
Janice, that's not very nice, Janice.
Oh, did Janice tell me I shouldn't do open houses?
No. Janice gave me a zinger. Janice is over there chuckling in Belmont in her backyard. She's taking some good photos of animals in her backyard, throwing zingers at me, Janice.
Well, share, because
She goes, we put the Batman and Robin
photo
on screen.
Yeah.
Okay, and Batman and Robin, they look sharp, right?
Yeah,
They're
sure.
fit, handsome guys. Janice goes.
Batman is anyway.
Janice goes, Batman and Robin both wore masks.
Right. Thank you, Janice. Thank you.
Janice.
Thank you.
Janice has got zingers.
I literally got one in my pocket for him.
Janice has got zingers. Okay, so this is a big deal.
But they covered their eyes.
Why? Yeah, Janice, they covered their eyes, Janice, okay? Can we put the photo back on? You know why this is a big deal? It's such a dynamic topic because the Batman and Robin, because of what happened in Roanoke.
Yeah.
Because of with the realtor. that got beat up.
Yeah.
It's a dynamic topic.
Well, it's more beat up. She got put in ICU. This was a big attack, and as realtor safety is huge. We talked about this on Friday. You know, in the past I've taught several safety classes, and hopefully I'll be asked to do it again. We did it in concert with. You're still smiling. This can't be good.
This is the show. You got a lot of freaking agents watching this program.
So
right
everybody needs to understand. I can't see what he's seeing.
You have a lot of realtors watching the program right now. A lot of folks intrigued by the inspection, the septic inspection topic, and now the open house.
Sure. So if we want to finish open house, go back to septic.
Your show.
Got it. Really?
Yeah.
Seems like you're moving it around.
Your show. I think the open house is interesting because here's why, and I'm going to get out of your way. You have the unfortunate attack in Roanoke. You have the health risk of COVID.
Sure.
And you also have the virtual tour that's becoming very dynamic.
Sure.
And it really shows the open house. And then you have a certain demographic that says we can't keep losing tools in our tool belt. When we lost control of the MLS when it was a book. We put it online and made it free to everybody, right? So that's losing a little bit of control. Having the open house is a tool in the tool book, and if you eventually take tools out of the tool belt or the toolbox, you're not going to have any tools left. That's what some demographic says.
Sure.
Is that fair?
We could debate that for a couple hours, but I think to stay on the open house end of it, you know, we talk about this on the show all the time. The 3 things that show up on my phone at 5:30 in the morning, other than call Jerry, is
which you do,
which I do, which is be professional, be caring, be trustworthy, then call Jerry. So, like anything else in this particular issue, we need to make sure that we're professional, we care, right, and people can trust us. So we're going to set up, and Michael was nice enough to give us some protocols. We're going to expand on them a little bit. So our protocols are going to be basically as follows. Always going to have 2 real estate agents in an open house. So that covers the safety question. We will never do a public open house without 2 real estate agents.
I'm going to tell you, Roy Wheeler may have the best open house protection in the world, and he's watching right now, 6'8" Matt Neese. If you need to have 2 realtors in an open house, if Matt Neese is there, ain't nothing going wrong. That dude's jacked. You're jacked too. You stand next to Matt Neese. There's a difference.
I don't know about that, but we'll talk about my burning 1,000 calories a day goal. So
you're doing that with the bike.
I am. Yeah, I'm hitting over. My lovely Apple Watch tells me what I'm doing.
That's impressive.
I'm trying anyway. So we're going to have 2 real estate agents in the house. We're going to have 1 real estate agent in the front to be a host. And then we're going to have all the proper protocols there. We're going to have booties, gloves. I was very fortunate to get my hands on 6 1-gallon things of hand sanitizer.
Nice.
Through a connection of mine. So we're going to have the hand sanitizer. As the folks come in, the person at the front is just going to greet them, take their name, basic information to come in there, and ask a couple of questions like, do you have a fever, so forth and so on. And one of the things we're also working on trying to get is a thermometer.
Yeah.
Instant thermometer. They're hard to come by. We've got possibly one coming in.
Sure.
So we'll do that. Then what we'll do is we'll only let 1 group at a time in the house. So then the other real estate agent will be in the house, do the tour, let them leave. If we have a second couple, we're going to respectfully ask them, or families respectfully ask them to wait outside, in a car, or in this case it's in Cascadia. So if you'd like to walk around the neighborhood a little bit, if you wish to give us your cell phone number, we can text you when they're done. You can come back in, but we're not going to let any more than 1 group at the time. They're going to be with a real estate agent the whole time, walk them through, walk them out. The other thing we're going to do is we're working on an infographic, which we're going to share on Friday on that, and we're going to turn it into, so it tells you how old school I am. I call them palm cards, right?
Palm cards?
That's old school.
I know what a palm card is.
Yeah,
I like that. I respect that.
Yeah.
A palm card, yeah.
Yeah. So those who don't know, and those who have ran for office, they're called palm cards, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to distribute them around the neighborhood, so everybody knows the protocols.
That you're doing it safe.
We're doing it safe, and the protocols on that stuff. So, and this particular house happens to be vacant. right? And I just felt that this would be a really good beta test to see how the public reacts to it and the market reacts to it. And we'll know. I mean, the only way one knows how to do this stuff
is to do it.
Is to do it.
And then to learn. Yeah. Someone's got to be first to market. And then when someone like you, how many open houses have happened in Carr? Like actual open houses. Are there a lot happening?
You mean today, tomorrow?
Like since COVID?
Oh, no. There may be, I don't know of any, to be honest with you. I think maybe there was a couple last weekend, but maybe...
Any realtors that are watching the feed, can you let us know if any tangible in-person open houses have happened?
I think there may have been
since COVID?
I think there may have been a couple last weekend.
Okay, so we're basically saying this is going to be one of the... you can count on one hand since COVID?
I don't have the data to prove
But you know that stuff. You're a connected guy.
But it's not the normal, that's for sure.
Right. So are the brokerages sharing intel? Because
well, that's a broker-to-broker conversation. That's a great question for Michael Guthrie.
Right, because wouldn't you, and I'm just spitballing with you.
Sure.
If the brokerages in Central Virginia, the Roy Wheelers, the Stephen Davises, the Michael Guthries, the Jeff Gaffneys, okay?
Quentin Beckhams,
mm-hmm. If the Denise Ramies,
sure.
If these folks are talking, these are what we're doing, it creates confidence and safety and health, and then the public's like, these leaders are saying this is what we're going to do, so we feel comfortable going. They should be sharing knowledge.
Yeah, so I'm not involved in the broker-to-broker conversations on that end of it because I'm not a managing broker. It's my understanding, and Michael can chime in, that those discussions have happened. Some brokerages say, hey, the time is not ready, and that's to be respected.
Because the broker has to make the call.
In my opinion, the broker has to make the call. I would not do a public open house without Michael Guthrie.
Could somebody at Roy Wheeler do a public open house without in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit from Michael Guthrie?
Well, but that's already been done. He gave us very clear protocols to do on that. So then it becomes a decision on my end.
Could you have done it without those clear protocols?
I would not have done it.
Oh, you would not have. But could somebody have?
I don't have an answer to that.
Okay.
I could just tell you how we would not do it.
Because you're above board kind of guy. So you got a lot of comments coming in.
Oh, please be nice to me.
You want the comments? So Matt Neese is saying, look, guys, I just got into the game. I'm going to be a real estate guy, solo, launch my business. I would absolutely consider offers to be a personal bodyguard right now. Matt Neese. I love some Matt Neese on this program. I would absolutely consider.
We're actually going to bring him in July. We love the heck out of him, and we're teaming up to attack Lake Monticello's market. So
we got, and she's been offering phenomenal perspective on this show. Ashley Journey.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to bring her on too.
She's offered another phenomenal comment. You ready for this one?
I am.
This is from Virginia Realtors.
Sure.
She says, this bill updates the law to require anyone who is going to perform a septic inspection in connection with a real estate transaction to either be an accredited septic system inspector or hold a valid on-site sewage system operator, on-site sewage system installer, or on-site soil evaluator license. This means that only certain individuals will be able to perform septic inspections for real estate transactions going forward.
This is huge.
This is huge. This is going to be, and I'm going to tell you right now, Interstate Pest and Service Company's Home's best friend since 1969. This is going to be their space. They are set up prime for this.
So, thank you very much for chiming in on that. My background, I've built multiple subdivisions in rural areas, and I'm telling you, these on-site all these folks that do this work are like, you can forget about getting them, right? These are guys like Steve, the Gooch family that are soils engineers, and there's a guy by the name of Archie Arnold who's a soils engineer. These guys aren't just going to stop what they're doing on a multi-$1,000 soils.
They got a backtrack of work, as you're saying, a backlog of business. And they're not just coming in to do a $350 little project, because these dudes are doing thousands of dollars of projects. And the opportunity cost is too great.
And that's why it made sense to do this trifecta, right?
Yeah.
came in, took care of the termite, right?
Yeah.
These 3 items that have to be done prior to closing: termite, well, and septic.
Because then you can say to the guy, I can get you $250 for this, $250 for that.
Well, they had a bundle price.
Yeah, bundle price.
It
made it more worth it.
Well, it's just a smart use of time, right?
Economies of scale.
One person comes in, does all 3.
Yeah.
So it's she's spot on. It's going to be something we have to vet through, and the smart real estate agents that are on there are going to start looking at their timelines and get in front of it.
We have this comment coming in from open houses.
Uh-oh.
And this is from Janice. She says most brokers instructed their agents not to do any open houses, and the host agent should take pictures of driver's license. Anyone can give a fake name. And I guess the picture of the driver's license would be for some contact tracing potentially if there's something like, something happens at an open house from someone has COVID.
So Janice, that's a phone call I'm going to make to the VR hotline, legal hotline. I need to find out if we're actually allowed to do that.
What, taking pictures of the driver's license?
Yeah, that's personal information.
Yeah, because it's someone's address.
It's correct. Well, it's got the driver's license number on it, particularly if they've got the new enhanced versions.
Yeah.
So thank you, Janice. Appreciate the heads up. I'm going to reach out to the legal hotline and say, hey, can I do this? If I can, that's a great idea.
Kathy Conlin just posted in the feed. She's an associate broker at Real Estate 3. In fact, Kathy, you and I talked on the phone. She just posted a link to a Virginia HB 1266 bill, which is the septic inspectors bill. That is literally on the feed now over on my Facebook page. We're live on 12 Facebook pages. That's live on mine if you want some information. This is a hot button topic.
Yeah, so it's House Bill 1266.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
that's what she posted.
Yeah, totally.
She posted a link.
Yeah. So it's a great read. I'm reading the Virginia Realtors snapshot of it that's on their hotline, on their legal update page on that stuff. But again, it's the same thing. It says right here, must be an accredited septic inspector or hold a valid on-site sewage operator. So basically, on-site sewage operator, that's somebody who runs sewer package plants. That's a huge permit to get. That's a hard license to get.
Yeah.
On-site sewage installer. So these are the people that septic system installers. These are people that put in your drain fields and all that kind of great stuff. And then an on-site soil evaluator. So that's your engineers on that end of it. So your operator is the people who actually operate like the city sewer systems.
Yeah, they're not going to come for that.
They're not going to come for that.
They would laugh at that, would they not?
No, it's just...
They just don't have the time.
Yeah, it's not a reasonable request.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
The installer, right? So those are guys that are out in their backhoes and their trucks and, installing. They have to be licensed to do that. Again, they're going to be installing systems, right? They're not going to stop what they're doing to run an hour someplace to do a 5-minute inspection and then run back. And then the on-soil license evaluator. So these are the engineers. These are the Steve Gooches, the John Gooches of the world. And they're not going to do that because they're out doing huge subdivisions all over the state. So it kind of leaves interstate, frankly, right?
In a really good position.
In a good position.
Since 1969, a home's best friend. Janice says many firms across the country, Keith, require a driver's license copy made before taking clients out. It should be standard practice to keep us safe even after COVID days are long gone. Janice, thank you so much. This is why I love doing the show, because you're throwing some knowledge down on me. So thank you very much, and we will get in front of that if... Erin Hill, the phenomenal commercial leasing agent watching the program. She works with Ludwig Kutner and Alan Kajin. Bob Slentz watching the program, giving you some prompts right now.
Hey, Bob, how's it going?
Dude, the topic is blowing folks up. A lot of folks want to get back to open houses. One agent says, Jerry, I think the Smiths are the second in Central Virginia to have an open house that I know of. Yeah, I don't... I'd have to look it up. I'll take that as gospel. Yeah, second that I know of. Beth Dunlop Marcus is watching on the Ivy side of town. Hello, Beth. We love you on this program. This question coming in about open houses is, does this mean they will start back up again like they were?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be very different because this particular listing, let's talk about that, right? So we're trying to leverage all the systems, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're working with you. You're pushing it out on your
Did you get any of those pics we can get on screen, J-Dubs, for the open house? Yeah, get them on screen. I'm sure you don't mind talking over the pics, do you? Having the pics on screen?
I can't see them, so I have no
More
idea
exposure for the, yeah. So go down that road.
So we're taking all our tools out of our toolboxes right here. So, just one of those tools happens to be an open house, and it may not be applicable to every property. This one's vacant, so I feel really good about it. We're actually got a painter in there professionally painting the house, so I know it's clean. I went through and got my eyes on it pretty closely, so I feel really good about it. We're also going to bring a professional cleaner to come in on Monday. So we're trying to set up all the protocols for it. But we're using all the tools, right? The palm card.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to be pushing it out in your Canon.
Yeah.
To do that. We're pushing it out in the social media. We've got an actual on, I think it's Friday after the painters get out. We're going to bring in a 360 tour.
Yeah.
On it. So we're going to put that on it.
This is a beautiful home in Cascadia.
Yeah.
This home is going to go like that.
Well, don't jinx me, brother.
Well, I mean, it's a beautiful. I'm looking at the photo. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a nice home.
Right? And a phenomenal subdivision.
It's one of the best lots out there,
Right.
actually. But the conversation needs to be about how we're going to do this and how we're going to market in this new millennia, for lack of a better term. So you have to do all these things, and if you read all the stats, right, from NAR, it used to be like the house was seen first once digitally. Now it's like 3 or 4 times. And I'm sure somebody can chime in with better.
Jerry, Keith, and Yonna are the third that I know of to have an open house since COVID has broken out.
Yeah. I don't track it, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, this is, and I'm glad that you guys are doing it. Because you guys are Yonna,
you're making me nervous at the moment.
I'm glad you guys are doing it because you guys are so focused on protocol and safety and doing it the right way.
Yeah. So I think the protocols that we're going to set up, and like I said on Friday, we're going to do this infographic. If anybody can chime in to teach us how to do it better, man, I'm all over it. And thank you, Janice, for the licensing thing. That was a great feed, a great piece of information. But it also covers the safety end of it, right? And we joked around with Matt and the bodyguard and all that stuff. But, having 2 people there, the chances of something happening diminishes greatly.
There's a crazy statistic out there. A homeowner that has a dog, even if it's just a little lap dog, the odds of someone targeting a home for nefarious reasons, even if they have a little lap dog, goes down drastically.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like, well, the dog could notify them that I'm coming in. They don't, and it's the same thing of having 2 folks in an open house.
Except at the Smith household.
Oh, why? Your dogs are not intimidating?
No, my 15-year-old Beagle is deaf. You could just literally walk right over her.
15 years is a good life.
Oh, yeah, God love her. 85, I think.
Yeah, 7.
Well, the first
105.
No, the first year is 15.
No, it's 7 every year. 7 times 15.
Mr. Miller, that is
I
incorrect.
agree with Keith.
That is incorrect.
Oh, okay, no. Judah's an arbiter. Okay.
I know.
Rarely does Judah grab the mic and say, I need to talk here. Judah, what are you saying?
So you sit here for a second.
No, yeah.
So it depends on the size of the dog, right?
We got to get you here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It depends on the size of the dog, right? So
From what I understand, it's not an exact 1 year equals 7 years. It's kind of like the first year of a dog's life is kind of like 15.
That's
so
exactly
by the
right.
end of the first year, they're a teenager.
Yeah.
The second year is maybe 10 years, and so on with diminishing returns. So by 13 or 14, they're not actually aging 7 years. They're just kind of in old age.
if you go on the kennel, I may have the acronym wrong, but the Kennel Association, the kind of guys this, you're 100% right. It depends on the size of the dog. So in our case, the first year is 15 because of our size, and then every year after that, according to the calculator, then it's 5 years. So if my math is right, she's 85.
I thought it was, okay, I literally learned something else again today. I always was under the impression it was 1 year is 7 dog years.
No.
No. Mm-mm. Do you guys under that impression as well? I literally thought that was what it is. Interesting. Mike Condor, hello. Southern Frank Bailiff's team, Mike
Hey.
Condor watching.
Google it.
I will. There's this thing called Google. Matthew Woodson is watching Roy Wheeler Realty Company.
Hey, Matthew. How you doing today?
The open house topic is still got a lot of people talking about.
Yeah,
You have realtors watching this program that are watching you guys and what you're doing.
So I was a little reluctant to bring it up today, but I just felt that
It was time. It was right.
it's time to bring it up
Yeah.
and time to talk about the protocols. And I will, either this is going to work well, or we're going to learn from it and move on. But I will keep everybody posted. I think this is me wiggling in my chair.
I think we see you doing
I'm
that.
wiggling in my
This
chair.
portion of the program, thanks to Scott Morris
Yeah.
and Pearl Certification, distinguished gentlemen.
Yeah. So Pearl, Interstate's the house best friend. Pearl's also a best friend, right?
Yeah.
That is a great way to get your home certified, particularly, even though this is a seller's market in certain areas, and we're going to talk about that on the back end a little bit. Get your house Pearl certified. It adds 5% to the. I mean, I've seen it happen on that. And Scott, we're going to bring in because you were on fire yesterday on this forbearance.
I learned from you guys.
Yeah.
I literally, this is no BS. I literally feel like the luckiest guy in the world. And I know that's a bit of a stretch, but I feel so fortunate.
No, I'll take it.
Yeah, I learned from you
Yeah.
and Ray. I mean, Ray was dropping knowledge bomb,
Yeah.
right? You want to tackle that?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to tackle. And there is something to tackle. It could be a huge thing.
Can you outline what it is?
Yeah. So for those who and I just want to be careful, right? What I do is bring in the experts and let the experts
Sure.
talk about that. So we're going to try to bring in Scott to talk about actually how this works. And then I'm really trying to get Mr. Riggleman, Congressman Riggleman, back in because he sits on the Financial Services Committee to talk about how this works. But at a very high level, right? So you took a 3-month deferral of your mortgage payment or
Yeah.
whatever.
If someone did.
If someone did, let's
Yeah.
assume you did that,
Yeah.
right? So the question is how are you going to pay this back to the bank?
Right. Their bank is asking people, sure, you don't have to pay your mortgage for 3 months. And then everyone's immediately just thinking, oh, that's awesome.
It ain't free money.
And then the bank is really saying, after 3 months, you have to pay everything that you didn't pay. People are going to get screwed. Because as Ray and Andre say this, if you couldn't pay it in the 90 days, you took 3 months and you couldn't pay it, how are you going to be asked to pay the lump sum in totality?
Yeah. So I'm really not qualified to talk about this. I really need to bring the expert into it. So the little bit I know about it is that, it really depends on the bank. So again, this may be one of these things, and that's the reason I want Congressman Riggleman in here to talk about exactly how the law was structured, exactly how the law was written, and how it impacts individuals. So that's what I'm really trying to get across the table from us, either personally or virtually, because this could be a big thing. Certain conversations I've had, it becomes a second loan, right? Right? How does that happen? It's very vague, not clear. How do you get, and the bank's going to get its money back. Plus, it's probably compounded interest on
Right.
top of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and how about the point Ray Cadell made yesterday, where he's like, I even saw it, where someone took mortgage, what's the word?
Forbearance.
Forbearance. Took mortgage forbearance, sold their home, or were trying to sell their home. And then the lender, when he was trying to buy a new house, the guy who was giving him the money to buy a new house,
Got zinged on his credit
said,
score.
hey.
Yeah.
You literally just said a couple months ago you couldn't pay your mortgage.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to ask me for a bag of money to buy a new house.
Well, I would assume that loan it should get paid off at closing. So if I'm selling your house.
Yeah, it does. But the lender was basically saying it was a red flag for the lender because it showed that he couldn't.
Oh, you're talking about the underwriters.
Yeah, the underwriters. Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily the loan officer, it was the underwriters.
Correct.
So again, Scott, how does this work? Again, bring in Riggleman, it's way above my pay grade. I can talk open houses and septics, but this is somebody we got to bring in that's an expert.
Yeah, we'll follow that closely. So Scott Morris. Also, how about some love for Dairy Market and Chris Henry?
Yeah, I was just on the phone with Chris on the way in, thanking him for a project we're working together on in Zions Crossroads. He's a rock star. I can't wait to get Dairy Market opened.
I know, right?
Yeah, and they're moving along. A guy by the name of Josh Batman is their project supervisor. Dear friend of mine actually sits on the land trust board with me. They're rocking and rolling. If you have not been over there lately, just check out.
I just drove by. It's amazing.
Check out the landscaping.
Right?
It is unbelievable.
They and it's quintessential Chris Henry and his company and his team. They thought of everything.
So I'll tell you a story about that. So this was Riverside Village. So they built the condos over there, and we were.
Where's that?
So on by Dardentown Park.
Okay.
Right.
Where River Birch Restaurant is, the new there's a Grit Coffee there. That's a beautiful spot.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we were helping them. God, it started 5 years ago, and we were helping them through the process. Just to tell you how forward-thinking those guys are.
Yeah.
The condo building, right, didn't have parking. What they did, and you should go over there and check it out, is pretty awesome. I think it's. Chris can chime in and tell me specifically.
So I'm gonna tag Chris Henry in here. You know what? I'll tag Chris Henry right now.
He's on the road, so he might not be able to do that.
I'll give Jody Mills some love.
There you go. Give Jody some love. So I think it's the only one in the state of Virginia, but they built a parking canopy.
Okay.
That's solar. So you park your cars underneath it. It's this parking canopy that's solar. And if I remember correctly, that solar fires up all the common areas.
That's awesome.
So the common areas are not. And again, I may be details be wrong on it, but basically they built a park so you can park your car underneath this parking canopy. It's a whole parking lot, and the energy generated by solar takes care of the parking lights and the common space. Yeah, they're always thinking ahead. Smart people.
I love that. Now you said you wanted to talk. These are the shows that are my favorite.
Oh yeah, I was looking forward to today.
We go in and it's just this.
What time is it?
11:06. Yeah. Right? It just goes. First time I looked and it was 11:06. I'm like, what? That's a textbook. That's a testament to the dynamic here. So you wanted to talk some digits. I really want to talk some digits, some numbers.
Yeah. So I've kind of wanted to wrap that around. Let me see. I get my notes here. I wanted to wrap that around the and see where it goes, particularly if we have a bunch of real estate agents still watching.
We do.
This bet that we got going on.
What's up, Colleen Tyler? Hello. She's a fabulous realtor in the game.
There you go. This bet you and I got going on.
Michael Guthrie's watching. He's covering your action on this bet.
Yeah, well, I tried to do a double.
You did. You tried to trick me. Anytime you have a bet and you know you're winning the bet, and then the guy tries to change the bet or do a double or nothing bet, the guy has something up his sleeve, and you should tread cautiously. So I was like, I'm not taking that action.
Whoa.
I'm not taking that action, dog.
Let's talk about this for a minute. Okay. Do we have time? What time is it?
We have no rules here.
Got it.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'll split it up with you.
Okay.
I prefer not to wait until the end of the year.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm not trying to okie dokie at all. If we can come up with a different bet, I'll let you think of it.
Okay.
Come up with a different bet so we could. I'm trying to get a bottle of bourbon sooner. Let me rephrase that. I'm trying to have a drink with you sooner.
Oh, we can do that. That's no problem.
I know.
So here's our bet. Here's the bet. So everyone who's watching the program sees that the market is picking up, sees that stuff is happening for positive, and that's a fact. So here's the nitty gritty in the bet. Fourth quarter of this year, the last 3 months of 2020, which is October, November, and December. That's the fourth quarter. We're comparing the last 3 months of this year to the second quarter of last year. And the distinguished gentleman says that Q4 of this year will feature 85% or more of the sales volume that Q2 2019 did. So it's comparing Q2 2019 to Q4 2020, and he says 85% or more of the sales volume will happen in Q4 when compared to Q2 2019. I said, no way, Jose. And I took the under. 85 is a push. 85 and above 86 and above, you win.
So let's keep that bet.
Okay.
So the bet I was trying to make was that the third,
right.
the third quarter
Yeah.
of this year would
Yeah.
be on par to the first quarter. So if it's exactly the same number, the third quarter of this year,
So starts tomorrow.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'm trying to do it.
Okay.
Right, and so by the end of the third quarter of this year, on par, 100%. So in other words, we would do exactly the same amount of sales volume in the third quarter of this year as in the second quarter of last year.
And does that exclude new construction?
Excludes new construction.
Okay.
So it's the parameters we always do.
And the reason I do not, I'm not going to take that bet.
Okay.
The reason I'm not going to take that bet is because I listen to you and Michael and to Ray.
Okay, let's talk about that.
And why I'm not going to take that bet is Q3 is shaping up to be a diaper dandy.
Yeah, I think I hurt myself on the
You already told me, gave me the knowledge not to take this bet.
I hurt myself on the fourth
You're
quarter.
trying to trick me right now.
I am.
And I'm seeing through
the
your
mask.
shady maneuvering.
My mask.
So tell me why I should not take this bet.
Okay, so tell you what. I'm just
Okay.
going to buy your damn
Michael
bottle.
Guthrie literally said he and Keith Smith they colluded and said we're going to trick this Miller kid into taking this bet so I don't have to get Riggleman's bourbon on the Roy Wheeler diet.
No, Michael Guthrie's far too fine of a man.
I know he is. I'm just joking.
Me, on the other hand.
Yeah, you are not. Michael Guthrie would never do that.
Not so much.
He would say Jerry Miller beats Smith fair and square. Here's the bourbon.
All right,
Keith Smith would be like,
Let's talk numbers. I'll just buy you a bottle of bourbon and we'll just move on.
yeah, I want to talk numbers. I want to learn.
Yeah, so I just wanted to take a quick look this morning, last 30 days.
Last 30 days.
25-mile radius of UVA, single-family attached, single-family detached, so these are single-standing homes, townhomes, and then condos. And I took new construction out because I think they skew the numbers.
Definitely.
And then what I did is so this is last 30 days, and I went down all the 6 jurisdictions: Albemarle, Charlottesville, Havana, Greene, Nelson. Apologize, 5. Louise is hard to figure out because half of it's in our MLS and half it's in another MLS. We'll have to talk about that later. So what we're looking at is active and pendings, and we're talking about bets, we're looking at the over-under. So Albemarle County, last 30 days, 93 homes went on the market, 161 came off, right? 26 days on market, so that's the median days on market. That's the reason I picked 30. That's a pretty good thing on it. Now, these are pending. They're not closed. And the median sales price is, let's see if I can read my own handwriting.
377.
377. Thank you.
Yeah.
So not only are we thinking alike.
Yeah, I can read your scribble. That's terrifying. And I'm finishing your sentences. What are we turning into?
Robin, calm down.
What are we turning into?
So,
Rob.
see,
Janice was popping me on the mask, and they wear a mask over their eyes. They wear the mask over their eyes.
but she was making a point.
I know she was. I know.
Janice, thank you.
She's still watching.
Thank you, Janice. Every day, wear a mask.
I do. So okay.
You interrupted me.
I'm sorry, you're right. I apologize.
Charlottesville,
Okay.
active 30, pending 45,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
10 days on market, 388 is the number,
Median.
median.
Man.
So again, these are pendings, right? So when it closes, it might come up or down a little bit. So,
Sure.
so on Fluvanna County, interesting set of numbers, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that. 17 went on, 48 came off.
Okay.
So we desperately need activity.
In Fluvanna.
Need inventory.
Specifically at the lake.
Yeah, when you look into the numbers, almost 100% of them is at the lake. 11 days on market, 233
Wow.
is the pending, and that's interesting. That's climbing. Green, 20 came on, 36 came off. Kind of makes sense. Green isn't happened thing. 38 days on market, so it's a little bit higher than the 30-day I said as the priority. 304.
304 for green.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So you talked about this yesterday on the show with Jesse. Nelson's pretty interesting. Active, 38, came off 46. Little high, man.
114.
114 days on market. But if you track Nelson County over time, Nelson County always was going the opposite direction. So I think Nelson County is going in the right direction for basically two reasons. One is what you talked about. I think the local government is kind of in the flush with
Jesse
cash.
straight up said, we have so much cash in the Nelson County accounts, we can run this government completely as we want for another like 18 months.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they are good with cash.
Yeah.
Now, they also don't have,
The overhead.
they don't have Albemarle County is a huge organization.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's interesting to see that. And the second thing that I think is really driving people out that way, and particularly in Fulvana, besides pricing, is the fact that they have high-speed internet.
Fiber.
So Nelson County clearly got in front of that probably a decade ago, and they actually own their own fiber network. So
Interesting.
So
I didn't know that.
oh yeah, sure. So if you look in like some of these other jurisdictions here, particularly Fulvana and Nelson County, they're working together with this Firefly, which is on the Central Virginia Electric Co-op. So you're starting to see high-speed internet go out that way. Albemarle County also has it, right? So our mutual client, and we'll talk about this with John Kerber in this listing we have
Profit
on Profit
Ridge, Dominion Custom Homes.
There you go. It has fiber,
Right.
1 gig fiber to it. So I think people are looking at fiber, people are looking at a little bit more room. But, Charlottesville's going in the right direction, man. We need inventory. So we really want to have an on par kind of thing, equal come on, equal goes off. That's a really great place to be as far as health goes, in my opinion, of the market. But, these numbers clearly say every one of those jurisdictions, to include Nelson County, we need inventory. And we're going to talk about this next month. Not only do we need inventory, we need it priced right. And we have to talk about, making...
What's the price that you're seeing? You're seeing people coming in too high?
No. What I mean by price right is when you have a real estate agent sit down, you have to price your home for the market. So, and we talk about this all the time. It's the 5 things, right? The right location, price, features, condition, and timing.
Yeah.
On that. So every location has micro locations, like Miss Cavanaugh's in Belmont. That's its own little micro thing. Lake Monticello is a different micro thing. Standardsville is a different micro thing. So you need to really dig deep into those micro markets and then move, kind of guide your client in the right direction. But you need to price it right, and we'll talk about that next week. If it's priced right, it moves a little faster. And
so you think Q3 is going to be synonymous sales volume?
Whoa! You bringing this bet back up?
I'm astounded that you really think so. Q3 is going to be the same as Q2 2019 sales volume wise.
I'm willing to bet a bottle of bourbon on it.
You're confident. I'm not going to take that bet.
So
see your confidence.
So let's put it this way: if I match it, I'll buy you a bottle.
I believe you. I believe you. I mean, and what are these numbers telling you?
Well, what it's telling me is the market is moving. What it's telling me is that, it's a seller's market, right? And again, certain micro areas, it may be a buyer's market instead of a seller's market. So that's why you need a trusted advisor to go ahead and do that. What it's telling me is we need inventory, right? There's more buyers than there is product to sell. That's a very broad statement. And again, certain very micro areas, it may be different. But in a broad level, we need inventory to sell. And we'll see how this open house goes on Sunday. I'm excited to share it next Tuesday.
I think it's going to go extremely well.
We'll see. We've never been afraid to stick our neck out, so at least I haven't. Yonna may feel a little differently.
John, our buddy John Kerber, Dominion Custom Homes, watching the show
John.
now. Lauren is giving Judah props, saying you're looking extremely sharp, Judah Wickhauer.
See? Am I
Ray
right?
is asking, Ray Cadell watching, maybe a quick plug for the fireworks, he asked.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray. That was in my notes, and
Yeah.
Mr. Miller got me sidetracked on that. So thank you, Ray. So whoever's watching, please donate, please donate, please donate.
Can you get the link on screen? There's a GoFundMe account that Bob Shada has set up to raise funds for fireworks. It's on screen. Thank you, Judah. Fireworks on screen on the 4th of July.
So, hey, Ray, how short are we now? This morning, I think it was like 10 grand.
Barbara Lundgren has the exact, it's not that much. Barbara, if you're watching, can you give us the exact number? Because it's not showing up, all of them on GoFundMe in real time. So I'm going to the link.
Okay.
We're doing private citizens in Charlottesville, Virginia are raising money to get a fireworks show on the 4th of July at Wendell Woods property.
So I did not have the opportunity to chime in when you and Ray were talking about this yesterday, and maybe it happened and I missed it. But what's super important about this, why I want to push and push and push and push, and thank you guys for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Tell them what happens with anything that's over. Where does that go?
It goes to the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank.
There you go.
Yeah. So right now, the GoFundMe has $25,220 with a $35,000 goal. I think we have a little bit more than that. And if Barbara, if you're watching, if you put the actual total in, can I get your take on this? Okay. So this is what you get. People are hesitant about celebrating the 4th of July for whatever reason it may be. And I'm emphasizing this isn't people shoulder to shoulder at McIntyre or Penn Park. This is you being able to watch it at anywhere you want in your home, except Wendell Woods Mountain.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We're going to be seen from so many spots.
I'm going to sit in my back porch in Lake Monticello and watch fireworks.
Okay, so all I guess what I'm trying to say is this is just about taking 30 minutes to put the hand over the heart and say I'm proud to be an American. That's all it is. No, nothing else.
Yeah, well, we're going to bring in my better 7/8 on...
A proud American, Yonna.
If you ever, and we talked about this last year, all this craziness that's going on, right? Maybe crazy is the wrong word. You know, people believe what they believe, and that's a beautiful thing, right? But if you ever really want to make your heart warm as an American, we can't do this year because they're not going to have it, but go to Monticello's nationalization ceremony. Yonna and I have gone every year. This will be the first year that we have not gone since we've lived. Well, I think it hasn't been going on since '87, but as long as it's been going on, we'll do that. And there's a portion of the ceremony at the end, so it's an actual court. They open court and they hold court on Monticello, and at the very end of it, the judge, which is a really dynamic guy, pretty awesome speaker, he takes the microphone and he hands it out to the field where all the people that are swearing in. And it takes usually a little coaxing, but somebody gets up and they tell their story, how they got there. And I'm getting chills thinking about it. And then it goes to you and you tell your story, and it goes to you and you tell your story. And you listen to all what these people have went through to become a U.S. citizen. And you go, oh my God. And sometimes you wake up and you kind of forget that. And we do this every year to kind of reset that button. And when you hear these stories, you know, if you don't walk away feeling better about yourself as an American, you probably never will. And so Yonna will talk about that because I'm a patriot. I love, I served my country. I love my country. Do we need a lot of help? Amen. Do we need to get better at loving one another? Amen. Do we have to get better to listen to one another? Amen. Do we have to get better at actually, caring about one another? Amen. But if you go there and do this, you have people that escaped from Cuba.
That's why I'm getting...
I know, I see it. Your mom, your parent, your family escaped from Cuba, and they tell this story. And, excuse me, I'm going to use this language. And what the fuck are we complaining about? Right? And so let's just love on one another. Let's get our priorities straight. But Yonna's going to talk about it, and she's far too refined of a person. She'll never do what I just did. So we're excited about it. And, donate a few bucks.
To the fireworks fund. Yeah,
and look, and even if that's not your thing, come on, man, we're going to feed people, right? Right. So hey, let's help us get to 35,000. Kick in an extra couple of bucks, whatever you can. It's $5. Buy one less of these damn. Well, no, buy more from Murray Bet.
Yeah.
But when it's done, if there's X dollars left over, it's gonna fill up a food bank. And if you don't think we need a food bank today, you're nuts.
But if you can get that back on screen, Judah, that link. Carrie Woolard It's a moving ceremony. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And Carrie Woolard just said, I'm donating now because of what you just said.
Thank you.
She's donating to
Do you want my Cayman Islands account?
She's trying. Please do it to the GoFundMe, Carrie.
Yeah, Cayman's account.
Lee Hughes, the fabulous commercial agent watching the show, you killed this. Today was a gem.
I was looking forward to today.
Right?
I really love this little Batman.
I
and
love
Robin.
it. A gem of a show.
Any opportunity to make you tear up, I'm going to take advantage of it.
The reason I asked you is because you have like so much. You're freaking Marine, and your wife fought tooth and nail to become an American.
It took us, I can't tell, almost 20 years to get her a U.S. citizen. Yeah.
So you have like doubled the perspective.
Oh yeah, sure. And and I lived in parts of the world, under communism and and the Middle East and all this stuff. So
Right. And when it's all said and done, we're lucky.
Yeah, but do we need help? We need help big time, right? And it's just because people just, again, listen, learn, and act. You and I may not agree on something, but I'm going to listen to you. Matter of fact, I don't think we agree on anything, but anyway.
We agree on a lot.
No, I'm only teasing.
Carrie Woolard has this question.
Sure.
Is there a mountain cam that is public? We have this going on television, on CW29, the NBC 29 sister station, for people who maybe can't get out or they're nervous. They can put their TV on from 9:15 to 9:45 and watch it.
All right, cool. I did not know that.
How cool is that?
I did not know that. So I can sit on my big...
You can watch it here
Yeah.
in your living room and on your front porch at the lake.
So does anybody know what the actual visual radius is? Has anybody done that?
Bob is watching the program now. In fact, I'll welcome Bob to the show. He said he's purchased fireworks that have never been of this magnitude, size, whatever the word is.
Freaking big.
Big, for the reason of getting as much visual as possible because we're not aggregated at one spot in a park looking up. So he wants as many people in the team.
How high is the mountain over
It's
there?
pretty freaking high. Wendell's is the mountain next to
I know
Carter's.
those places. Yeah, I'm just wondering what the elevation is there.
That's a good question.
Somebody probably knows that.
If I looked up Carter's mountain elevation, that would be let's see. What do you think Carter's mountain elevation?
I think it's in the 700s.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
What is that elevation to Carter's mountain here, guys? Anybody know that?
I think it's around 700.
I don't know.
You got a show to do, brother.
Yeah, I lose track of time. I just enjoy spending time with you. You're good people, guys. The elevation is 1,142 feet.
Wow, I wasn't even close.
1,100. I had no idea.
Yeah, so if I'm on here, right, and I'm shooting up or whatever, I wonder what the radius is that somebody can see it.
I'll ask Bob. That's a really good question. Multiple agents have said, Jerry, please ask Keith to keep us posted on how his open house goes.
We'll do. We'll talk about it next Tuesday. We'll do a report in and see how it goes. We'll hopefully it will be successful.
Sounds like you're the third. Ray Cadell said, I've played music at that ceremony. Keith is right. It is very, very moving.
You teared up every 4th of July. If you don't walk out of there tearing up, something's not right.
Litza Lambrinos. Keith, I became a citizen at Monticello on the 4th of July, the year after 9/11.
Thank you.
The best heartwarming moment that I will treasure the rest of my life.
I was actually there. Oh, ask her who was the guest speaker.
Who was the guest speaker?
I'm trying to remember
speaker,
that.
Litza. We'd love to know that. So you were at that one.
I've been at every single one of them, except for this one coming.
Well, they're not having it, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah. This was a good show.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Real Talk, powered by the Yes Team Realtors, guys. Keith and Yonna, do you see what he's about?
So next...
Good dude.
Well, thank you. Next Friday, we'll have Yonni across the table.
I'm excited.
I am looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward. She's going to tell her story?
We have to behave. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, well, she keeps us in line.
Yeah, we have to behave.
Yeah. Another comment about the open house.
Yeah.
He will tell us about it.
Is it something I can share real quick? Or just...
They want to know.
Yeah. Next Tuesday, we'll share.
Right. This show airs Tuesdays and Fridays on the I Love CVille Network from 10:15 to about 11:30. Thank you so much for joining us. This dude, A+ people. If you need a trusted advisor, Keith and Yonna, Yes Team Realtors, guys. I'm telling you. Thank you very much for joining us. Oh, yeah. We got to play the video.
Do
What
I
is
got-
it?
am
The
I-
new fall.
No. This
is
is
the
summer.
summer.
Summer's the new spring. Yeah.
Summer's the new spring. Judah Wickera, let's go into that, my friend.
Thanks, Judah.
Thank you, Judah. Take care, guys.